This week I get a chance to sit down with Marty and Betsy Duffy of the Cellar, and one of the things that I noticed inside this election was probably one of the most electric was some of the stuff that you guys posted on Facebook and Oski News in particular. You guys sent in a letter to the editor, and that sparked a whole new conversation. To me, it was almost a turning point in the election. Why don't you give me a little bit of history behind that, and let's dive into that a little bit more.
I guess through this whole election, we have heard only, I guess, just a few topics that people were concerned about. But we hadn't heard any topics that really pertain to us particularly, specifically liquor license, for obvious reasons. So we weren't really trying to start a revolution or stir up a hornet's nest, I guess. We just wanted answers, honest answers about where people sit on liquor license and Friday after 5.
And when we talk about specifically what the solution candidates were running for, everybody has different issues.
Yes.
And they were actually running on one issue, and you were actually very interested in a liquor license issue, and you couldn't get an answer from somebody. And what were some of the comments that were said of how you would actually go about and get those answers from those new candidates?
I remember someone actually telling me to call this gentleman, whereas I really wanted answers in writing, because then it's black and white. There's no denying it, and I cannot take it and put my own spin on what I heard, which I think is very important, because there's really no gray area when something is in black and white in writing in their own words.
I think one of the things that kind of jumped off to me when I was reading through some of those comments, that you sit there, even us on council, one of the best things that we can do to help you as a business is to get involved. The answer isn't, well, we're not going to talk to you about it. We don't want to see you guys have big legal bills. So if somebody says, well, let's vote it down at the city council level, we'll go fight it at the state. Well, I don't want to do that. That adds to what you guys are doing here. Yeah. What are some of the simple things that you could see the city do better, or some of the challenges that you've had to alleviate some of that type of legal?
I think, we've done 4 events here in town so far with the old location and the new location. And I think we've done a wonderful job with that. We're creating people coming into our community to come to our, if it's a car show, a motorcycle show, things like RAGBRAI, it generates business to our town. So by having these outdoor events is really important to us, because it obviously generates some business for us and for the community as well. So that's a big thing, is to have that.
So when we look at going forward, let's just take that Facebook comments. Everybody on the outside, when they're coming in here, it seems like this town always is negative about everything. I've never seen anything quite like it, where you're trying to move forward and people keep pulling you back. Is there anything specifically that you guys see that said, this would really help us out as a business if we could turn the table or we could turn the tide on certain issues?
I think if we just got more help, there was more involvement. I think us as the Cellar Peanut Pub, our mantra isn't exactly alcohol. I mean, we serve craft soda, we serve virgin drinks, but really we want to be one of the epicenters for culture in the community, and involvement from the community would really, I think, be beneficial to
For sure.
the entire city, I think.
Absolutely.
So when you guys look at the election, there were several candidates out there that said, we don't drink.
That's fine.
That's fine. But you know what? You were asking a very simple question. How can you help us with some of the alcohol problems that we have to go through? Sometimes we sit through a bunch of bureaucracy and we got to step in. And, we worked on RAGBRAI together on a couple issues that I don't think a lot of people understand, that when you have different class licenses, such as, the alcohol, different whether you're inside, whether you're outside, all kind of the Mickey Mouse things that go along with it. Fence can be here, but your beer garden can't be here. What were some of the things that you saw there?
There's all kinds of loopholes and all kinds of things you have to go to prepare for a party outside. And
People have no idea the amount of work that it takes.
It takes a ton of work to just put on a car show or a motorcycle show. So when we heard, there were some that weren't supportive about it, that was a really big thing to us, because we want some support from the city of Oskaloosa and our patrons and everyone else. So.
Let's take that just a little bit farther. Let's start at the beginning. When we don't want to do a show, what's the city require you to do first? What do they say? Hey, you know what? You've got to present this to us.
I have to go to the state and make sure all my ducks are in a row. Make sure my fencing's appropriate. basically let them know where I'm going to be selling alcohol, where where the bands are going to be,
To draw a
etc.
layout.
I have to draw a layout, and then after the state level, then I come back to the city, and the city I have to go through the
Engineer?
engineer's office, and then I have to go through a couple other things, and then go to city council as well.
So we start at the state,
Yes.
we present a plan there, then we come back to city council, and we present a plan there, and then if you hit any hiccups there, the whole process starts over again.
Back
We
to
gotta
the
go back.
state.
You got to go all the way back to the state, and then you start dealing with, in one of the specific cases that I remember working with was where the fence was. Was the fence touching or was the fence not touching? From a city standpoint, when somebody says, you know what, I'm against alcohol, I'm going to vote everything down. What does that add to the challenges for you here as a business?
Financially,
So much time either driving ourselves to Des Moines or being on the phone for numerous hours to the state in Des Moines.
figuring out something.
Yeah, finding a plan B or C
It just
or
takes
D.
time, money, and it's not good. So therefore,
So the bottom line is, listen, if you're going to get involved, it's this bureaucracy that sometimes we have to go through ends up adding you legal bills. That you were asking a very simple question up front. You had an issue. If you're going to
That
vote
was
it
our
down,
issue.
yeah,
that was your
our
issue.
issue.
absolutely.
And everybody has their own, and that's what was great about this is you were specifically asking about one issue. But that one issue, by that one candidate, was costing you, could have been, conservatively $5,000 or $10,000, depending on how hard you had to push that issue.
Well, and I kept hearing people say, well, it really doesn't matter because it's not a big issue. People would actually say that to me. And if they vote you down, there are other ways to go about it. And I thought, have you ever yourself gone through that, jumped through the hoops, spent the money, spent the time to clarify these? It's easy for you to sit and say, but unless you actually know the facts.
And that sole comment adds money to an attorney that you have to go back in and restart over. And that comment was made from somebody that I think's in that very next post says, well, I don't drink.
Yeah.
So not only do you have somebody that doesn't drink, that doesn't understand the situation, is going to pass the buck on to you.
And drinking, not drinking, that's a moot point.
Yeah.
That's not what
We're not your
this was about.
typical
This
bar.
was about legal issues. We can legally sell alcohol. We're trying to do things the right way. If you drink or not, that's fine. We don't judge you. That's
we don't judge at all.
fine. That was not our point.
Right. So did you expect when you looked at the Facebook to see it explode? Because I saw a whole new side of people when they were looking at this election. It was kind of like a light bulb went off in them. That it's not just one issue, but what I liked about this is it dives into your issue. And we look at specifically some of the problems that we had. Were you surprised by the amount of support that I saw on Facebook?
I was happy. I mean, for people to actually comment on it and get a reaction from all different sides. I mean, it was great just to see where people were at. I mean, what people wanted, what people, it was nice to see that amount of people get active and get moved about it.
It felt great because that's really what drives us, I think, in owning our own business. We can say what we want to say, how we want to say it, and we really, we love freedom of speech. We love the ability to do what we want to do, and I guess we're not afraid to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Why would someone be afraid to ask questions?
There should be more questions
I
asked.
don't understand
I think
that.
more business should do what we did. I mean, ask these questions to our council members or people that are running for
We pay
election.
them.
We pay those people to do this. Let's ask them the questions that'll help you.
And you guys actually started Challenge the City because this was, probably about a year ago that you guys moved locations.
Yeah.
How has things changed for you? Because there's been a lot more energy, I think, here at the new place. We've done more outside events. You've brought in more people than what I think you ever did in the old place. What are some of you think the really positive changes from going from the old place to the new place?
I think Betsy and I as a team, we're more creative here. We can do more things. On my side, obviously the beer, I'm up to 571. I mean, I'm pushing the envelope with beer. Betsy's doing an awesome job of marketing and using the Twitter and Facebook and social media. I mean, we got a great team too. Our bartenders are working out real well for us.
Yes. We have the space, so that allows us to be more creative with the separate spaces. We're going to do a books and beer club where we're actually working with the library director, William Oddens, to come up with a plan for putting on a book club.
So, those of us that sit in the city that are looking for the future, what are some of the biggest things that I think probably, or you think that the city needs to work on to make your life easier so you don't have all of these hiccups, that you can be more free to bring in more business and to bring in more outside talent?
The ways to work together.
Yes.
Figuring out ways to work together. We're not working against each other. I mean,
We're trying to do a positive thing for our city and obviously us. So by doing outdoor events or bringing a place where it can generate people to come into our business, I mean, we need support from them as well. You know,
How has that relationship been to this date? Has it been good for you on your side of it? Has it been good? Has it been rocky? Has it been?
It's getting better.
It's getting better. So there were some challenges. There were some challenges early on.
Yes. You know, we're young business owners, and you know, we had to build trust with them. And I think now that we've done all these outdoor events and you know showed that we're doing it the right way, I think in the future, I think this will be you know bigger and better, and hopefully they'll allow us to do more events that you know are bigger and better for the community.
because we really do have people from Indianola, from Des Moines, from Fairfield, from Iowa City coming
Grinnell.
here
Yeah.
to this city for this place. So we're drawing from a huge base of surrounding communities. Pella.
Yeah, Grinnell.
You said 571 beers.
Yeah.
How many on tap now at this point? 20.
18, and we're hoping to do more. And then we have a brewery we have a nano brewery in the works. JD Reed's going to be our brewmaster. That's exciting. We're going to use the caboose to do our brewing. We're just going to brew for in-house. It's just going to be a couple beers on draft that we're going to be selling of our own. That's exciting. It's something new for Oskaloosa as well to be home of the new brewery. You know, the only brewery in Oskaloosa. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
And I'd be absolutely remiss. The most famous Bloody Mary now in the United States comes right out of here. How did that evolve? How did we get around to that? Did you just say, you know what, something I wanted to do?
I've always made a Bloody Mary since the old pub, and people have always liked it. And you know, Betsy signed me up for this best Bloody Mary in the country by Absolute, and I didn't think, you know, in a million years that we would have that many people vote for us and become the top 8 in the country, and then get to go to New York and compete for the top 8 or the top 3. Mm-hmm. And it was just, you know, it was humbling just to go with Betsy to New York to show the Bloody Mary, but to actually get second place in most creative Bloody Mary
Through
in the
the Food
country
Network.
through the Food Network it's still kind of shock and awe.
Now, when I come in here, you know, I see a lot of people looking for the Bloody Marys now.
Yeah,
What type of business has that brought in for you?
a lot. We're generating people from all over the state, and you know, people are following us on Twitter and Facebook from you know the Northeast, Wisconsin, New Jersey. I mean, people are following us now with our T-shirts. You know, people are sending pictures with you know where they're at with our T-shirt on. You know, it's fun. It's growing. We're excited about it. You know, it's something new.
There are no limits.
There's no limits. We're just going to keep growing.